Hello, hello, folks.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Two Geek Girls. I'm Crysstal Hubbard.
And I'm Lyssa Beck.
Thank you guys so much. We know it's been a little while, and the good news about that is we've got lots and lots we can talk about. Everything from the early reviews of the Eternals are out. Spoiler-free reviews are out since that comes out in just a couple of weeks. Is it 2 weeks now, if I'm counting right?
Something like that.
Something like that. I am now a fan of Eddie Brock and Venom ship right there. Thanks to the latest movie, Venom, Let There Be Carnage. We can thank the wonderful director for that. You all know and love him, Andy Serkis. What else did we miss? And upcoming this month, of course, we have Ghostbusters Afterlife. I'm excited. Not to mention all of the predictable Halloween movies and fun times coming up the rest of this month. And I hope you guys are ready. It's just next weekend, sorry. Happy Halloween
this weekend?
This weekend, sorry. The next weekend coming up, which is this weekend. That's correct. Hope you guys have gotten all your spooky fun times in. So we'll be talking about some of that, as well as a controversy surrounding the Alec Baldwin film Rust. Who didn't see that coming? Yeah. And everything else that we can find that's worth to print. Not to mention, shout out to my man Alec and his page Axanar and everybody involved in Axanar and helping him with the page. That includes Lyssa for all of the help that she's given. We officially have our 100,000 subscriber plaque on that channel right there, which I keep moving upstairs, so I have opportunities like this to do a shout out. And he doesn't have a place to hang it up downstairs, so there we go. No, we're not going to be playing. And 4 cats. So
hello, kitten.
That is Cider. She's sweet too. So hello, everybody. Hope you are doing wonderful. Hi, everybody. Yeah, where are my cat headphones? They are in a box right here.
I got mine.
They are right here.
Speaking
if
of
you
cats,
have them, they are not
charged.
For
opening my door.
Yeah. So they are right here. They're not charged. I will charge them. There you go. We will get right to that. That is just one more thing for the cats to play with while I'm trying to talk to you wonderful, wonderful people. Shout out Jim. Hi, Steven, Luna, Olive. Welcome back, everyone. Again, I hope you guys have.
I have 2 cats already, Alec. I can't.
As sweet as these ones are. Yeah. Hi. That's a cutie pie too. I got an 80 playing with one of the cats right now on the floor, so you're going to hear that in just a little bit. Again, I apologize. You're going to constantly hear me call out certain cats' names. Most prevalent will be Lucifer, this adorable little girl that I named. I didn't know any of their sexes. I just gave them all some like Halloween and spooky names, and Lucifer ended up earning her name.
Okay, now I'm confused because I see Axanar and Aries Studios in the chat. So does that mean Stogie and Alec are in the chat, or what's going on here?
That is entirely possible. Yes. That is entirely possible.
Oh my goodness.
That would not surprise me. So hey, hi everybody. How we doing? So yes, movie I'm excited for is Ghostbusters Afterlife. What are you guys excited for? Are you still excited for Eternals? The early reviews for the Eternals have been mixed.
Yeah,
is a good word for that. A lot of praise for the cast, a lot of praise for the characters. There is, fortunately, there is no queer coding, no queer baiting. There is actually a sincere, fully formed relationship in the film. Thank you guys for doing that, because getting tired of the queer baiting. Again, very mixed reviews. It appears to be torn between should have been a standalone, should have been maybe 2 movies, but the first one would have been incomplete. Does it run too long? Does it run too short? The director, of course, known for sweeping landscapes and big epic, storytelling. So that is in there. It takes place over, of course, centuries. But the best part of the film is going to be the interaction and the chemistry with the cast. So there you go. Again, a lot of debate over the merits of the storyline itself. Was always going to be a very large task for Marvel. Yes. So far it has the lowest rating, I believe, Marvel has ever gotten on Rotten Tomatoes. but it still isn't officially open yet. So there you go.
That's true.
We shall see how that goes. What do you guys think? You guys still going to go see it? Planning to see it? Yep, Luna's planning to go see it. There we go.
I'll see it when it's on Disney Plus.
Yeah. See Venom 2. Yep, there you go. And Halloween. Those are the other ones people are planning to see. Again, I do recommend Let There Be Carnage. We will not bark at the cat.
Too late.
So there you go. Rogue Squadron, that's another one. Again, a lot coming out, a lot of movies that were delayed for quite some time, a lot of things going to Netflix, lots of stuff going to HBO, lots of stuff going to Disney Plus. It's a lot. This is the year of catch up.
Yep.
That is for sure.
I am excited that the new Dune movie is out in theaters and HBO Max.
Have a choice.
Still haven't sat and watched it yet, but I've also been hearing mixed reviews about the Dune movie. But we also need to keep in mind Herbert's Dune is also one of those books that is often considered unfilmable.
Yes.
So, temper your
despite 3 attempts
expectations.
I think today, as opposed to unfilmable, I feel like when they said that, it was very much a consensus on something impossible to make everyone happy, because many people like different things.
Yeah.
About the books. Many people read and become fans of the book for different reasons. Every director is going to have their own interpretation. Everybody's going to have what they want to stress, what they feel is going to be the most successful. There you go. I believe that this latest incarnation has made fantastic strides with obviously the technology is going to be there because we are decades away from the last time it was put on film. But I liked the characters better this time. I liked the interpretation, true to the book interpretation of several of the characters better this time.
Well, that's good. See, one thing that
did you just sorry, the cat just took the lid off my cookie too.
One thing that mildly irks me is that so spoilers to a degree from the book.
It's been around for decades. I'm sorry.
Yeah, but still,
spoiler.
Not everyone has read the books.
I know, but okay, go ahead.
Paul, Jessica have red hair for a reason. That is the signifier of House Harkonnen.
Mm-hmm.
Jessica is the Baron Harkonnen's daughter. And that's one thing that has irked me about this interpretation. All you have to do is dye their hair. Like, I get wanting to have the ethnic look to them because it is set on a desert planet. It makes sense that the Fremen would be POCs. Okay. Totally. They're desert people.
Yes.
But Paul is from a fucking ocean planet.
Yes. Yeah.
Just dye their hair. Dye their hair.
Yes. I mean,
that's all you gotta do.
Yes.
That's one thing I liked about the miniseries. It's like, hey, they did the thing. They showed that Paul is a Harkonnen with the hair.
Ow.
You okay?
Yeah, cat's going out. Cats. Yeah.
Well, the ornithopter's wings flap this time. That's one thing that didn't really fucking make sense to me.
Okay.
In the books. Like, I like the interpretations of the ornithopters not having flapping wings, because it makes no fucking sense aeronautically why you would do that. It takes more fucking energy to do that with a machine than it does like an animal.
We don't have airplanes that flap.
Yeah, there's a reason why mechanically we don't do it in real life.
No. It would take so much energy to maintain the movement of it. Yeah, which is all of these things. Let's see. What else do I have written down? So yes, Dune out. You have a choice. Oh, the other one we get to talk about is there are a few more little hints and nods and clips that we're getting of Michael Keaton as Batman again.
Oh.
Who's excited? Yeah.
It could, depending on how they write it. I
It-
think Keaton will do gold with whatever they hand him. I
Yes.
think I have no faith in WB.
Okay.
That is my point.
That is entirely possible. There are several actors, and Michael Keaton is one of them, especially recently in the past decade, give or take, decade to 12 years, whose choices I trust. If I see that Michael Keaton is in something, I give it a shot. There are several actors like, okay, if you have chosen to do, it's not like you need this, you didn't need this job, you are picky and choosing, you are given top tier work lately. If you have chosen to do this, if he's decided to come back as Batman, I am going to trust.
Oh yeah, I'm definitely going to give it a try because I do
Yeah.
trust Michael Keaton.
Yes.
But I also know that between editing and the fact that scripts aren't fully written usually by the time that they're filming.
Correct.
Like they change things on set all the fucking time.
Correct. Locked, not dialogue. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm still very it's sus to me, and I do agree that Michael Keaton does pick and choose very well these days. But it's also potentially the case that they hand him something like this and then the producers go, "Yeah, no, we're doing it like this."
Yeah. Entirely.
The fan four stick.
Yes.
Fan four stick.
Yes. I don't know.
And I know that's Fox, but I'm using it as a prime example of this happening.
Yes. Yes. I mean, Warner Brothers definitely not giving up. DC Comics not giving up. Not giving up the fight, no matter what. Basically, I see there's so many speed bumps that they've hit. There's so many mistakes that have been made. But we have Aquaman 2 coming out. We have new incarnations of Batman. We have the Batman coming out. We've
not support Aquaman 2.
And many.
I refuse to because of Amber Heard.
And there are going to be many. This is going to be an uphill battle in many communities. Now, yep. So you got that in Black Adam, and again, everything else is coming out on HBO Max, and this is all fantastic. Batgirl has just enlisted Brendan Fraser on HBO for the new Batgirl series. So yay! We're saying goodbye to Supergirl, but there's a new incarnation of Supergirl coming around. So all of that is great. But yeah, leading into, okay, so here we go. You got Amber Heard, and there's a controversy surrounding that entire discussion. And then we have Dave Chappelle on Netflix and everything surrounding that discussion. Now, this is where I'm going to give a shout out to Jon Stewart. Jon Stewart just released an amazing statement. And what he said was in full support of Dave Chappelle as a person. He said, the man wouldn't hurt a fly. I've known him for decades. I love this. But what he said was Dave Chappelle's intent is entirely irrelevant. The point is, the conversation that's taking place is what is relevant. So I do not believe basically what he said was, I don't think Dave Chappelle is a hateful person. I don't think he intended to hurt anyone's feeling. I don't think he intended to offend anybody. I don't think he intended to set anything back or make a statement as to one side or the other. I think he was doing what he believed was his job as a comedian and simply putting his opinion out there and his free speech and everything else. And that's what everybody else is doing. Mm-hmm. But their intent and what they're doing is different from Dave Chappelle's intent and what he was doing. And this is where we get the controversy surrounding, but nothing's happened. Just like I don't think anything's going to happen to Aquaman 2, regardless of how we feel about Amber Heard and the discussions of Me Too and domestic violence and everything else, and just equal playing field for everybody, equality for everybody. It has to do with the throwing around the term of cancel culture. People are going to decide to do what they do based on the information that they have and the opinions that they have. And it's all going to get called cancel culture, even if it isn't.
Yeah, I was
Even
gonna
if
say,
it is a relevant opinion and a point.
is holding someone accountable really cancel culture?
Here's the difference. This is where the discussion of throwing around the term cancel culture, I believe, needs to consistently take place. There are actions I have seen taken. I'm like, that is where we got the term cancel culture. That was out of bounds. That was a problem. That's not okay. That's not people stating their opinions or having a discussion. And then you have accountability and a point where people are drawing their line in the sand for bad behavior that needs to be called out, needs to be punished, and it needs to be all the people all the people involved need to be held accountable. So here's the question. What's happening with Dave Chappelle is creating this line. And it's different, in my opinion, from what is going to happen with Aquaman 2. However, I feel at the end of the day, the outcome is going to be the same. Nothing's happening to Dave Chappelle. He's made $24 million off of this comedian. It's still one of the top billed comedy shows right now on Netflix. It's not getting pulled down. Nothing's happening. Everyone's just going to have their opinion on it because it is very different from how people feel about what needs to happen with Amber Heard. And this is why I'm mentioning both incidents, because I feel that both things are very different and yet they get lumped in together with the same trigger terms, if that makes sense.
Yep.
Okay.
It makes perfect sense because I totally agree there.
Yeah.
Because there are definitely far too many times where, no, this person needs to just be held accountable. This is unacceptable behavior. And it should be called out because XYZ is full on illegal, but is not often enforced.
Don't bite. Right. Right.
And like calling someone out for inappropriate behavior is one thing. Calling someone out because your feelings got hurt, like just, feelings, not like, hey, like you're totally dehumanizing me. That's different. That's not your feelings getting hurt. That is someone dehumanizing you.
And that is where people are going to draw the line and say, you know what? If I can avoid giving J.K. Rowling any more money, that's what I'm going to do.
Exactly.
Okay. There you go. And I don't feel like that's cancel culture. I think that is your choice upon realizing you're in a death of the author situation.
Yep.
And that's borderline what's going to happen with a lot of comedians. But I also feel like some comedians are kind of big babies.
Yeah. For making fun of a lot of different people, they're pretty sensitive about their own feelings getting hurt.
Oh, no, they don't. Yeah, people call them out and say, hey, I don't think that's funny, and here's why. And I feel like it's irresponsible for you to keep treating it like a joke, and here's why.
Well, and
okay,
like especially like someone who's a person of color or something like that, like there are nuances that are there that you should understand better than anyone else. But you're totally missing the point, and you're making this joke in a manner that makes it so that either a person is dehumanized, you're making them the butt of the joke when, much like whatever culture you come from, it has been put down and rolled through the dirt for forever.
Right.
And instead of, making it making it an appropriate joke and shedding light on what's occurring, you're just doing the exact same thing that's been happening to them this entire time.
Taking an opportunity to point out an ignorance that really does cause more damage than people think. Everything starts as a joke. And that's kind of the one thing, like, oh, it's just a joke. I'm like, well, that's a very bullying stance that you're taking there. Like,
and it's like rape culture things. It's like, oh, I was just joking. Were you? Were you
though? Yeah. But I do believe they are on different levels.
Yeah.
And yet the same terms and the same coverage and the same ideas get tossed around when speaking of both. But that generally comes from which side has which agenda, whether they want to use the situation for their own means, as opposed to having a real discussion about what is going on with the people that are behind it. So that that is that. But I'm going to do a shout out to Jon Stewart because I believe he summed it up quite well. Yeah.
Yeah, Olive, that's very true.
I mean, and there's just a lot of stuff that I think it just isn't funny. I just don't think it's funny. It was never funny. That was never funny. It was never anything. It was, and at the very least, it was cheap and easy and low-hanging fruit.
Yeah, can we stop making woman go make me a sandwich jokes?
I mean,
for example.
Yeah.
Just as an example that just pops off the top of my head. I mean, because that's like one of the most common ones that have been overused over the years.
I mean, I have a pair of pink pajamas that says "Go make me a sandwich," but when a woman wears it, it's funny, and there's reason for that. And if you don't understand why it's funny when a woman wears the shirt,
well,
then you haven't been paying attention. Yeah, you haven't been paying attention.
It's the reason why, like, if you're a person of color, you can say the derogatory name of whatever culture you come from, but the people who have oppressed you can't.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying I will laugh at your joke, but I'm not gonna say it. I'm not gonna repeat it because that's not my place.
Exactly.
It's
the same thing. It's about the power dynamic there.
Yes. Oh, wow. Speaking of which, what's the latest news from Facebook? I mean, Meta. Yeah, there we go.
Oh, yeah.
There we go. Right in there with that one. All right. So we've got
Facebook.
Meta. So let's be clear. Yeah, go ahead.
Facebook will still stay around. Yeah, that's what kittens do. Facebook will still be Facebook, but
Facebook is Facebook. WhatsApp is WhatsApp. Messenger is Messenger.
Yeah, this is more akin to what Google did with the creation of Alphabet.
Yeah.
It is their parent company that is the overarching label for these companies that are under it.
And
so
this
Facebook,
is Meta.
WhatsApp, Messenger, Instagram, Oculus
will all still exist in and of themselves. And then you have Meta, which is going to become the holding place for everything you don't have to go through Facebook to do it. You don't have to go through Facebook to have it. There is no connection. So this is Meta. And this is what's been announced. I still think he should have named it MySpace, but whatever.
Well, here's the thing. You can't because MySpace actually still exists.
Technically it does, yes.
It's actually used for bands now, which is really what it was used for a lot of the time back in the day, too.
Yes.
But
yes, that is true. It was like a place to have a page.
It was like the original. Okay, so you know how OnlyFans has become about sex work and everything, but it originally started as a page for musicians and stuff like that? Kind of the same thing for Facebook, except it became a social media site instead of, if you're doing sex work and are trying to sell pictures of yourself or something like that.
Right. And the Facebook went away on their place. Yes. And I mean, again, OnlyFans ran into its issues and attempted to rectify those. So Facebook is running into its own issues, and rightfully so, with basically allowing misinformation, especially misinformation that is not in English. Allowing the misinformation to have a life of its own, doing next to nothing about it. And yet, it basically, you want the title, but you don't want any of the responsibility. And this is absolutely what happened with Facebook, because it makes them a lot of money. It's a lot of traffic. It's an entire ecosystem inside of another ecosystem that takes place. And so, but it's causing very, very, very real harm. And you mark my words, there is going to be other reasons why Zuckerberg is creating this entire other umbrella corporate. Okay. When they keep figuring out how to take the lid off of this, and that's driving me nuts.
See, mine just bite through the bag of beef jerky. If they think they can get into it, for example.
No, they actually take the lid off.
I
Okay.
mean, my cats opened my door. Like,
Mhm.
literally at the beginning of stream. I was like, all right, little shit, what are you doing? Because I knew it was fucking Esri.
It's coming. That's what cats do. So Johnny likes those. That's good.
Trying to decouple their stock prices from their behavior. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense.
Uh-huh.
That makes perfect sense.
Yep. All that. There's always more than the surface reason for a decision like this. And that's just the way that it is. So watch me eat my cookie. Hold on 1 second. Boom. So there we go. Welcome to Meta. I'm still a little triggered by that name, but whatever. That's personal. All right.
No, like, I know he's trying to expand like the idea of AR, VR, and whatnot, and so he's trying to prepare for more of that. But one, I think he's getting a little bit too big for his britches, beyond what he already has, because the technology for what he's trying to envision does not exist yet. Like, and it won't for a while until things get small enough, like power supplies in particular.
Let's bear in mind, Meta does not exist right now. And in an age right now where we are out of battery power, where we are out of tequila, by the way, where we are out of a lot of things, mainly based on supply chains, and you've got trucking companies.
I got Kahlua.
I mean, I got whiskey. It's better than nothing. We got trucking companies giving people bonuses of $12,500 to sign on. And you're talking about expanding, and you're talking about the amount of money that these companies have. We are somewhere between where people at this level clearly have a vision of something that we haven't thought of yet, which is expected because they are surrounded by the people whose job it is to tell them what's coming around the corner, to tell them what they're supposed to be doing. And this includes everything from Amazon and Walmart to the information highway with Zuckerberg and people that turn basically invisibility into money. And I don't mean invisibility like you can't see it, but I mean you can't hold it. You can't hold it. It's something that literally only exists in an algorithm. Mm-hmm. But he turns it into a fortune. Yes.
Yep. Well, there's also that
this one's still available, by the way. Just so y'all know.
There's also that information that came out about Facebook and Google colluding.
Oh, of course.
Like,
of course.
It was assumed, but we finally have proof. And that's part of why like their stock is kind of like tanking a bit, and the timing of them announcing Meta,
that. Yes
just a little bit sus.
I mean, you're looking at somebody. Fortunately, he had he was responsible for the second worst episode of The Simpsons ever. Unfortunately, Lady Gaga was responsible for the worst episode of The Simpsons ever. But yeah,
how so?
Worst episode, Lady Gaga. Worst episode of The Simpsons ever. Yeah. But right below it was Elon Musk, second worst episode of The Simpsons ever, who consistently says that it isn't really about money. It is, ow! Okay, you're down. Ugh! Damn, that hurt. Consistently saying it isn't about money, it isn't about this, it isn't about that. But as you have pointed out, consistently questioning, that doesn't mean you come back on my lap and do it again. Consistently questioning. Yeah, there's 3, 4, 5 reasons. See this? A trigger for anybody who can't do blood. Yeah. I gave you a warning. There's always 3, 4, 5 different reasons why anybody does anything when you are talking about an amount of wealth that is impossible to measure. It's impossible for people to measure. Like I'm looking at the fact that days in my life, $10 made a difference between me having enough gas to get to work and me having enough money to get like a thing of top ramen afterwards, or a can of cat food. Was the difference there. So this is insurmountable wealth. But when you have all the money in the world, what you're looking for is power.
Yep.
after that, and an ability to change things. So when you say something like they wanted, lobbying for them to have a seat at the UN, I'm like, they're not that far because they have more money than most countries.
Okay, and here's the thing.
Yeah. More money than most countries.
We have media about this. It's fucking like there's a tabletop game about this. It's fucking Shadowrun. It's got fantasy elves and shit too, but it's fucking Shadowrun. Like we don't want that world.
So you think about, why are they putting so much money into space? Why are they putting so much money into travel? Okay, so we've watched the sci-fi movies and shows about this, because what happens after that is the insurmountable wealth.
One baby?
Yes, please. That is involved with mining resources on some podunk asteroid.
Yeah, and then we
Is going to be ridiculous. And this is where all of us plebeians are going to end up working on some colony in space for the Bezos of the world.
Yeah.
Like, this is how this happens.
We're having this very incredibly serious conversation, then cattail.
Cattail. And then the cats are going to come along and knock everything off the planet. Like,
yeah,
that's
and
the way that's gonna be.
Elysium's another great example of it.
Elysium. Yes. Yeah.
Fucking Alien.
Yeah.
Like the Alien franchise with the xenomorphs.
Yeah.
Another really good example of it, because if you pay attention, the fucking companies are the ones who run space, everything out there in space. And that's why, like, in some of the stuff, it's like, oh, well, the company wanted to bring it back to Earth and like see if we could monetize this thing.
Here's the thing,
like
they're not
a weapon of war.
But they're not talking about building companies. They have companies. We're talking about building a mountain of wealth and power that supersedes what we think of as a country. And then it's going to supersede what we think of as a continent. And then it's going to be like a hemisphere. And then it's going to be an entire new empire beyond all empires, where wealth is immeasurable.
Yep.
It's power, it's control, it's the ability to write the laws and write the rules. And this is what's been
they're
happening.
already writing the laws to a degree.
Exactly. When you have all the money in the world, what do you do with it? You rewrite the laws, you remake the rules. And that's what they're doing. So every time you have somebody with this much power.
Copyright law.
Ugh, Disney.
We're calling you out.
Yep. So to give a little shout out to poor Donnie here, who always wants to talk about Power Rangers, and I'm so far behind Legend. We always think that we have to worry about some like mecha, like building some mecha robot to just take on a gaijin. But what we really have to do is just keep an eye on our boss.
It's more like D&D or a tabletop where there's like some secret BBEG that's not really a secret BBEG, but you think it's a secret BBEG.
This is what we really got to worry about.
Like, oh yeah, you know that tavern owner who's been like amassing wealth over in town, what's it called? Yeah, they're the big bad evil guy. They've actually been pulling the strings from behind the scenes the entire time.
Always is. It's always. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it goes beyond, we just want the ability to be able to pay our bills and, be able to tell people to F off when they're more toxic than anything else. These guys want an ability to create a bank, to create a country, and then we say world domination.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's a saying. Any
offense that has a fine is just an admission fee for criminality. Yeah.
You got it.
Yeah, that's exactly it. All it does,
and that's what Disney does.
If you're poor,
pays the fine. Yep.
If you're poor, you can't pay the fine. But if you've got the money,
we have to pay for parole in this country.
Yeah.
What?
Mm-hmm.
What? Every other country is looking at us like, what? Oh, you want your people to be effed for the rest of their life. Okay. Yeah. Cool. And this is, again, why so many of us become like, I guess what people on the outside, civilians, call intellectual nerds. It has to do with the discussions that we're having. I'm not saying anybody's
Oh yeah.
smarter than anybody else. It has nothing to do with that. It just has to
No,
do with like
this is
what we see,
a philosophical
philosophical
debate
conversations
here.
that we're having. Yes. And so I try to take a step back whenever I see something entertaining and I'm like, okay, so what is the metaphor wrapped in the allegory, wrapped in the whatever about it?
Water
Yeah.
and power.
Water and power.
Another good one.
Most
How
of the
much is
water,
water and power paying you to be here? $2.15.
you know, what's really sad about that? That's about the hourly wage for most people in this country. That is really scary.
It's not wrong.
It's really, really true. It's really all right.
But is water and power tipping you, or are they expecting the villains to tip you?
I
Villains.
mean, we're giving you housing. We're giving you free housing and food. All you have to do is work in our fields.
Love us unconditionally.
Love us unconditionally. Pretty much.
Like the Goblin King.
Oh, I was
Labyrinth.
okay. So throwback to Labyrinth. Who I don't think it was you that shared this. Somebody just shared this fantastic Reddit breakdown. I think it was on Reddit that this was. Somebody broke down. Okay. Really messed up thing about Labyrinth. It turns out that Sarah is like the 500th Sarah.
Oh, I'm sure.
Yeah. So every single goblin is another baby that the Sarah didn't save. So he had an original Sarah. The parents didn't want Sarah to be with Jareth, so Jareth took the baby that the parents wanted Sarah to keep raising for them, but Sarah couldn't get to him, so little baby becomes Goblin, and then Jareth kind of goes mad, and he's always looking for Sarah, and he's always looking. So whenever he finds a young woman who has a little baby sibling and seems to be in the same situation, he kidnaps the baby and gives Sarah a quest, and he keeps making it harder and harder so that he can have her for longer and longer. So at one point, you'll remember that I just forgot his name. The little
David Bowie?
No, the little man.
Hoggle.
Hoggle, thank you. Hoggle says, she says, "Yeah, I'm Sarah." And he's like, "Yeah, I figured." And it's like, oh, there were so many Sarahs. There were so many, and they never made it out, and they never got the baby back. She's like the first one that ever got the baby back. And I'm like, this is so messed up. So there you go. But yes, unconditionally love me forever. Yeah. So yeah, Elon Musk that's right, Donnie. Elon Musk was on The Simpsons, and oh God, it was awful. But again, Lady Gaga was the worst episode ever. And there are a lot of bad episodes, but that Lady Gaga, no.
Yes. This. I've been talking to my grandfather about this recently. A lot of companies are saying, "Oh, we're short on this, that, next thing." Well, first off, I'm just going to point out that during lockdown and everything, where people were furloughed and whatnot, everyone had been told, "Well, why don't you go back to school and get a better job?" So people did.
So we did. You have a huge percentage of people that went off and got qualifications and had the time. Time.
That's the thing
months waiting for the right job, even if they were already qualified. Yeah, they were given.
They had the ability because of the stimulus checks to actually pick what made most sense for them. Not, I need a job right now because I have to live.
Correct. I have to take any job that anyone is willing to give me because I have bills due next week. Nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Like the entire pandemic situation, all it did was shed a light on the issues that have always been there.
Oh yeah.
For like, especially for the past like 30 years or so, because minimum wage has not changed in 30 years. It has not changed since what, late 80s, early 90s? I don't remember the exact year.
Oh, if we were to deal with inflation, whatever you, and not what you're paying has kept up with inflation, but what you should be being paid, every
Yeah.
dollar that you're getting paid should be 7.
Yeah.
If what we were paid was equated to how prices have changed for things, you should be getting $7 for every $1 you're getting paid.
Yep.
And there are very few companies that reflect that when it comes to minimum wage and everything else. So, yeah. And that's, again, something else we've been warned about in multiple stories, multiple. Gap. Did you just fart? Ugh. Cats fart too. They do.
They do. I can confirm. It's great when they are getting loved on and present their ass right in your face and then they fart.
Yep. See. Yes, I am. I don't know how you. I'm excited for Prodigy. Hope you guys are as well. Deanna Troy Day, an underrated and underutilized character, if there ever was one. What the hell? Let's see what else we got. Okay, so we've got just over 15 minutes left. We're gonna hit. You okay? You okay? Okay. So we'll talk about what feels almost inevitable. What happened on the set of Rust in New Mexico.
Yep.
So first, beyond a tragedy, this was a young mother, wife, family, friend, hardworking, incredibly talented, up and coming, who, this is the part where we talk about a very obvious and right on the heels of everything happening with IATSE. There's, as I've tried to explain to people, an entire culture in entertainment because you're surrounded by people with a lot of power, influence. They are almost worshipped. They are successful. They are wealthy, and they can control, elevate, or destroy your career. Yep. There is an accepted, if not encouraged, environment of accepted. I would be oversimplifying it to call it toxic. What it is abusive environment, yes. where people are everything from sit down and shut up. It's not your place. You are not in a position to say things. You are not in a position to do things, regardless of your concerns, except hopefully be in a position to walk off of a job and find another one.
Yep.
So here we have, and latest police reports, by the way. So I'm sure everybody here is doing that. We have, for our viewers, I'm sure everybody's familiar with what happened. A horrible accident happened during a rehearsal for a scene with the cinematographer and the director and the lead actor, Alec Baldwin, was practicing in front of the camera how he was going to take his gun out of the jacket. While he was practicing the move, his finger was on the trigger and it fired. And there was apparently a projectile called lead at this point. The police have found it. I don't know how the two people were positioned. We will see a sketch at some point, but the two people in front of him were the cinematographer and the director. The projectile has been removed from the shoulder of the director. However, the cinematographer was hit in her stomach. Whether this is a result of a close impact of the blast or the projectile or separate projectile or it's split projectiles went into two people, we do not know. But the one that has been recovered was surgically removed from the director.
Lack of people walked off because of lack of safety and overworking crapping.
So this is the other part of the story.
Anyone left was all stressed out.
Yes. So multiple problems on this set, multiple safety issues, major concerns to the point where the unionized crew that morning organized and combination of making a ultimatum statement about the conditions While they were packing up their belongings, security was called and they were escorted. Now, I believe that was for the optics reasons. I believe that that was so when an incident report or anything else was filled out, the producers could say that they escorted people off of the set, that the security removed people from the set. However, these people were walking out. Let's make this clear. They were
Yeah.
packing up their belongings and they were walking out. Again, this is a strategic optics and report. Yes, that was her name, Helena
Yes.
Hutchins. And she is unfortunately the fatality of this situation. Her wounds were mortal and
Yes.
she was pronounced dead.
This.
Yes.
This
These were
right here. The reason why IATSE was threatening to strike was unsafe conditions.
Safety concerns was number one.
Well, and another thing that I find that whether or not the weapon is going to have a projectile in it for a scene.
Should not be, you're right. Should not, well, not a projectile.
Your actors,
it should never be a projectile.
No,
it would be a flat, it would be the blank. It would, right.
There could be situations where you're actually filming something being shot where there would be a projectile. But no matter what, the production company should be responsible for teaching anyone who is going to be handling those weapons proper safety as well, and to check the weapon themselves too.
So what it is that the production company, the funding for the production is responsible for following safety protocols. That includes exactly who you're supposed to be hiring for these positions and exactly the safety meetings and the protocols that are followed through with these, and which is why you hire these people. So including the people that walked off included people involved with the props, people involved with safety, people involved with stunts, because they felt corners were being cut and they felt like the conditions. So we had two problems going on. The walk off was because one, safety concerns, and we have other actors who have now stepped forward saying that they felt incredibly unsafe filming the scenes that they were. Two, you have conditions where the crew was lied to about where their accommodations were going to be. They had their hotel room stripped from them. They were asked to drive an hour every day back and forth to the location. Yep. They were lied to about where they would be staying. They were lied to. They were not paid. They have not been paid for quite some time. On top of the safety concerns. So when I tell you, I am disgusted by the fact that people are making excuses for any producer. Well, they didn't know, they didn't do this. And this is what the police are now investigating. One, complacency on the behalf of everybody in a position of power. That's management and production. That's including Alec Baldwin. Complacency. This is a key word because this becomes a legal issue. If you were complacent about that, if I'm in a movie and my crew has walked off for safety concerns, I'm not filming anymore. With guns. And now we're finding out there was live ammunition on set because people were playing with the guns.
Yeah, no, you should never be playing
there should not be live ammunition on the set. Who the hell is letting anybody play with these guns? People were playing with other guns. People were going out to the desert and shooting shit for fun.
That I get with like personal weapons, but like
not on my film set.
Nothing that's going to be anywhere near someone's going to touch it.
So this is where foreseeable circumstance comes in, and this is why they're talking about charges that could be laid on anybody who has a producer credit in any investigation that involves anyone who is in a position to make any of this stop at any time. If you had a foreseeable circumstance, people bringing their own guns, people having guns, people shooting, people having live ammunition, people playing with guns on a set that has guns, like a Western, foreseeable outcome, this is it. And this
Yeah.
is, but these are concerns, these cutting corners, deciding where you're not going to put. I get it's a $6 million, I think it was a $6 million movie or $7 million movie. I know that the insurance that they had for it was about $6 million, which means that's about as much as somebody who sues the production could get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Not the cost of a life. I'm just saying. So that's not the point. The point is everything else. So it was a small
Alex said
production.
7 million.
7 million. There you go. Yeah, this is what they're, and so this is the last thing that the police, when they did their briefing today, this is the last thing that they said. They retrieved a lead projectile, whatever that means. Yep. Out of a person's body. Live ammunition on set. People shooting guns for fun on set. And they are specifically, their words, investigating complacency of safety protocols. Complacency in the act of ignoring safety protocols, I believe was the word that they said. But this is not the first time somebody has died because of this level of negligence and complacency. Cutting corners, irresponsible behavior. This is exactly the problem. And it's not the first time it's cost somebody's life. And I really hate to say, I don't think it's going to be the last time either.
Oh, no, it won't.
But it is an epidemic throughout this industry. And this is where this toxic culture comes in, that if you are not on the top of the bill sheet, of the call sheet, nobody cares. You are replaceable. You are expendable.
Yep.
You are ripe for abuse. And people coming into the industry believe that they should have to survive in uncomfortable situations, abusive situations, and dangerous situations to have a career. And it's not as simple as, well, you could just go do something else, or you could just get another job, or you could do this. It's not that simple, because every job leads to the next job. There are no gaps. You have to work an amount of time to continue getting the benefits from the union. You have to rely on one job to give you the credibility for the next one. If you haven't been working in the last couple of months, people think that you're done. And this is reality. Not to mention, people have devoted their entire life. I mean, just when I was just trying to be an actress or anything else in that, the crap jobs that I worked because they were the only hours that were convenient for me in order to go to the audition, standing in line for 6 hours for an audition, losing a job for an audition, suffering, $20,000, $30,000 in debt that I had to pay off, not to mention the schools that I went to, the classes that you take, the right in your face abuse that you suffer for decades. All of your friends and family telling you that, well, honey, why don't you just do something? Why don't you just do that? Why don't you just, because you've given up everything to be there. You've given up everything, and you've buried yourself in your dedication to your career. And it's not just your career, it's your life. This is how you're making money. This is the one thing that you've got. And your wife may be pregnant, or you may be pregnant. And if you don't work this film, you will lose your medical benefits. Not to mention, you spent 15 years trying to get into a position that you're the person they call for this.
Yep.
And 14 agents and 5 publicists and hell that you've gone through. You haven't eaten in 3 years, and you haven't slept in 2. So somebody said, just go do something else. You feel completely backed into a corner when it becomes so normalized for every set to be bad like this. We have a woman who lost her arm in a stunt. We have a motorcycle stunt woman who just lost her life. That's
2
years ago.
thing.
People dying and getting hurt on the set of Walking Dead all the time.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like the way people who do stunts in the industry are treated is appalling. It is fucking appalling. Like, how many people have to be paralyzed, die, have things amputated for you to go, hey, maybe this scene, while it looks cool, maybe we should film something in front of a green screen for this and still have the stunt person do the work that needs to be done. But then CG in something because it's safer.
Right. Right. I mean, again, this idea that the director has a vision, so he's going to force, God, what is her, crap, The Shining.
Oh,
Shelley
the
Duvall.
female,
So he's gonna force Shelley Duvall to do the take how many times? Until she's so out of her mind, she can barely stand, she can barely walk. She's officially got PTSD. But hey, he got the shot.
got the shot.
He got the shot. And he's called a genius. So the dialogue continues to be, well, she wanted the job, but she wanted to do the part. But it's cinematic history. But that stunt person was doing what they love.
Okay, but it especially in regards
it's
to
not the
people who
director's fault. It's not the producer's fault. It's not their fault. No, the person was doing what they love. They knew the risks.
consent is always key in everything you do.
Right.
Everything.
Tom Cruise is consenting to scale a building. If Tom Cruise wants to produce the movie, pay the insurance, and do the stunt himself, great. Great.
Yeah.
But the pressure that goes on people in the middle of now a $300 million production that you have put your life on hold to do, and if you leave, you don't get like any of the money. You could have been there for 2 months and you don't get anything if you walk off the set because you're concerned, yeah.
Yeah. No, I mean, so this actually goes to something in the tabletop sphere as well about consent. So I'm going to share my screen real quick. We have this nifty little thing now that a lot of people use called an RPG consent checklist. And this is something that should be important in any kind of acting situation.
Oh,
like,
yes.
Tabletops are just an improv type of acting, but it's still acting. So like, hey, are you okay with horror, relationship stuff, like romance, fade to black, sex, blah, blah, blah. What topics are going to trigger you? What topics are you okay with, but like fade to black on? Like,
because it's difficult to bring it up in the moment.
Yeah.
And like, people have all been here. I don't know why people are so flippant about this, but you need to make it as easy as possible for everyone to come into the situation on the same page, because it is very, very difficult and anxiety inducing and horrifying. Not everybody's in a position to speak up when you say they should have spoken up.
Yeah.
That's not how this works. So having even like the intimacy coaches and all of these people on set for films now, like, that's huge. I didn't even get another person in the room with me when I was doing certain auditions. And don't even get me started on that. Yeah, that is huge. So it goes with it. Yeah. So all of these, because again, this is that accountability versus cancel. No, this is accountability.
No, this is accountability.
Yes.
If you are in a situation that puts you at risk, mental, physical, or otherwise.
Yep.
You need to have consented. Like,
you need to be given an opportunity to understand what you're going into.
Exactly. You have to have all the information, because like, if there is a scene where now it's simulated sexual assault, but it's still, if you don't get consent beforehand, that's still sexual assault.
It will cause all of these physical triggers, and this has been spoken by women who were put in situations by directors and other actors where they were kind of glossed over. Any moment that they could, like, this is a very specific tactic, and all of us have been here when you realize somebody is basically glossing over, moving past, moving beyond, speaking over any opportunity you could have had. They've removed the possibility. We've been in these conversations. I've been in these conversations with people where they make sure to pass over that opportunity, or kind of like physically pull everybody in. You're not given the opportunity. You're not given the moment to say or do anything about it, or you're lied to about what's happening. You have actresses who have come forward stating that they've been lied to. They've been physically assaulted on camera, but because you were an actress and you were nude and you had signed on for the job, it wasn't their fault.
Well, and see, that's why, like,
yeah, it was.
In the tabletop sphere with like the live streams that I do, like, it's a show. Yes, we're doing it improv in the moment, and a lot of it is also based on dice rolls, but it is still a show. So there's a lot of stuff that people don't see us doing behind the scenes about talking where our boundaries are, what is important for us to feel and do, and things of that nature. It's like, no, it's important for us to consent.
And this is something I see Netflix stepping up to do. One, any show that they've had that has involved weapons, their safety levels and protocols have become the industry, like the highest in the industry so far. And two, physical, like made you, these shows that come out, they have had so much pre-production involved with the content that's in these shows. And again, the thought goes back to this environment. Like, how did it get so bad? How did these people end up working on this job? How is this? Because it's normalized. It is normalized in this industry to be on a set where you have stories afterwards about, oh, let me tell you how bad this was. Let me tell you how much we didn't get paid. Let me tell you the lies that they told me. Let me tell you what this actor had to go through, this actress had to go through. Let me tell you what they had to do. Let me tell you this one time this person almost died. These are the stories people come out with after they've been on set. This is what they talk about. Because it's normalized. And all of that
is a damn shame too.
And all of that leads to exactly what happened.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly. These are situations that can and should be easily avoided. And
you can tell where their priorities were. This was not a priority. Safety was not a priority. Are you kidding me? A set that has gun, that was not the priority. It should have been the priority every single
day. That should have been number one on the list. If you have any sort of fucking weapon on hand. It doesn't even have to be a firearm. If you are using a prop sword that is metal, you can still fucking hurt someone.
Arrows.
Like this thing right here. This.
Oh yeah.
It's not sharp on the sides, but you know what? This could fucking hurt someone and kill them from the point.
Oh sure. Anytime you're in any scene where you're any object or doesn't matter, doesn't it? But firearms first and foremost, because you don't have to be close to somebody to do it. They have this different level, and then there's again, should have been the priority. Number one, when you cut corners and you do, and this is also where I always say the fish rots from the head down. When something like this happens, start at the top.
Yep.
The fact that you guys brought in an assistant director who is literally known in the industry as the person that you bring into a production when other people don't want to do it because of safety concerns.
Yeah.
Are you kidding me?
Yeah. Yeah. Are you?
You seriously? Knew who to call. You knew who to call and you called him.
Yep. It's like,
wow.
Oh.
Wow.
Yeah.
There you go. All right. So I get to do a little plug for myself.
Do your plug, and then I've got to get out of here because I've also got my Rupture stream on my Twitch channel here.
At 8:30?
Yes.
Okay. So we'll make this really, really fast. So yes, Supergirl No More is a go. we have already filmed the scene with Matches Malone, who's being played by Kevin Porter. He came into Atlanta. We filmed a scene together. You know Kevin Porter. You could know him from Dodgeball. You could know him from a number of his other independent films and a couple other blockbusters that he's been in. But you probably mostly know him as Bat in the Sun's Batman. He is the Batman versus Darth Vader. He is the Batman who just did what was the one? Easy. Remind me the last one. I can't think of anything anymore. I don't know why I need to do whiskey right before these shoots. So anyway, Bat in the Sun's latest production. He just did. And they're about to do a sequel for that. It's Dying is Easy. There you go. So Dying is Easy is the last one that they did, and they're doing the sequel. But in between that, he is going to be Matches Malone. That's right. Not Bruce Wayne, not Batman. He is Matches Malone in my Supergirl fan film. We have a GoFundMe up right now to help pay for what we've started with. And then we are going to launch our Indiegogo, hopefully in the middle of November. We're still getting some more pieces together. We also have Adani Maripos as Lex Luthor. You would know Adani from 24, from Hidalgo, from Mortal Kombat, to mention quite a few others. He was in Troy. He's amazing. He is incredibly excited to be Lex Luthor. This is a Lex Luthor like you have never seen him before, certainly not in live action. And I'm very excited. Our first scene that we're going to be filming. So after the Matches Malone scene is going to be used to show you a piece of the story for our Indiegogo campaign. And then the first episode is going to be the confrontation between Kara Zor-El and Lex Luthor. It is a post-apocalyptic, literally, incarnation. Supergirl is no longer a girl. She's a full-grown woman. She suffered horrible losses. She has been thought dead for quite some time after a invasion by Apocalypse led by Darkseid. She is back. The world is in chaos. Her friends and family are in danger. That's the vigilantes. Lex Luthor is president. There is no Justice League, and she has to set things right. So here she comes. She's confronting Lex Luthor. She's getting the full story. And that is the first part that we're going to fund with the Indiegogo. But first, we would like to get a bit of a leg up so we can move forward. I will ask Lyssa to send the link to the GoFundMe in the comment section. I will send it to you.
Yeah. Send it to me, and then I'll
so it'll be in the comments. But you can also find it. We have the Supergirl No More fan group on Facebook. We have the Supergirl No More Instagram, and we have Supergirl No More is linked on my Facebook page, Crystal Rose Hubbard for my actor page, and then of course Crystal Hubbard, my Facebook group. But we will link it down here too. So even if you can, thank you, Jim. Even if you can just share it, let people know.
Jim, it is not showing that you posted a link.
Okay, that's okay. I will send that.
So yeah, I do still need the link.
Yep. So there we are. You can get more information on the fan film that we're doing, but there you go. There's the actors that are signed on. We have many more coming. We are super excited. Very unique. We will bring in Jon Stewart, Harbinger, Twilight, multiple characters from the Supergirl comic specifically. And yeah, we're excited. So go check it out. And there's my plug, and wish me luck. Oh, and we'll let poor Lyssa move on.
Okay. Real quick. Hey, everyone. Remember, I'm now actually partnered with Juju Energy. It's really freaking awesome energy drink. It's powdered. Instead of paying like $3 to $5 for a freaking energy drink, you're basically spending like $1.20 on one. Has lots of vitamins. It's actually formulated to help your eyes protect against blue light with this cool thing called Lutamax 2020. Tastes really freaking good, and it's 0 sugar. So if you use code Geek Girl at their website, you can get 10% off, and I get some of the funds from that. Let me see. Have you sent the link to me yet?
Let me see. If not.
Oh. I lost Crysstal, guys. Hi. Hello. Sounds good if they can skip the energy part. Oh, that's right. You've got a. I'll talk to them and see if they can just make one that doesn't have the energy part. It's just flavor for you.
Bam.
She's back.
I'm back. Sorry. I will send that to Lyssa right now so she can post it. So I'm gonna bug out first, but I'm gonna formally say goodbye. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm gonna get that to Lyssa in the next 30 seconds so she can go off and do her stuff. But I want to say thank you again. We will hopefully see you next Thursday, and we hope you have an amazing Halloween. Stay right there, Lyssa. Give me like 20 seconds. Hold on.
Oh my goodness. Okay, those are backwards. Yeah. And then in the next couple of minutes, guys, I will be on my Twitch channel. It is twitch.tv/Lyssa. Since we're waiting on a wild link from Crysstal, we'll just post that. Hey guys, look, you guys should come see me playing Rupture RPG on my stream here in just a little bit. And then starting soon, I will be running a Rupture RPG stream on Wednesdays. But I've got to get people together for that and, the fun stuffs. Here we go. Here is the link for that Indiegogo. Woohoo! Copy. Pasta. There. Go find me. All right, everyone. I love you all. I will see you next time. Go check out my Twitch stream. That is like in 15-ish minutes. And we will see you Thursdays. Bye-bye. If I can click the correct button. There.